Perceptual Shift Show. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Welcome to the Shift Show. My name is James Quine. This is my brother,
Robbie Quine. I am a life lover and a perceptual shifter. I think you're
That was really a slow draw to lift up the thing. Usually you lift up the cup and say, I'm a life lover.
Right, yeah.
But what happened? You're nervous?
Well, no, actually, I need a sip of this coffee right now. I'm kind of like slumping.
All right, well, remember that other show when you didn't have a lot of energy. Keep that coffee coming and keep that energy high because our guests really don't want to be bored today.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's not applicable.
Acceptable?
Yes.
But acceptance is the answer. I got you there.
All right.
All right, so the other thing to keep an eye on is the timer because we don't want to bore them to death.
Thank you.
Go for an hour or two.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting stuff, I have to admit.
I love it.
Anyway, enough of that. I wanted to just remind everybody, this is the Perceptual Shift Show, and this show is all about shifting your perception so that you can invite a feeling of loving life and manifest abundance into your life. So you may have watched some of our other episodes.
2 scoops of abundance.
Two scoops of abundance.
Let's go for it.
Didn't we have a show called 2 Scoops, or aren't we coming out with one?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that. In any case, if you haven't got the book, it's available on Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. It's online everywhere. If you don't have enough money to pay for the book because you're just kind of being conservative budget-wise, considering the price of gas these days.
That's right.
What can you do?
Gulp. You can get it on Kindle.
And
get a notebook. I mean, you got to scrape up a couple ruples for that. But the writing is important. I mean, it just takes it to the next level.
It's good to have a notebook anyway.
It just is. And then spontaneously, sometimes stuff comes out of left field and you got your notebook.
I mean, I journal every day. So aside from writing a gratitude list, I also journal, especially if something is going on in my life that feels a little bit uncomfortable, out of control.
You get your first ding for that.
Thanks. And with that, I'm going to tell you just a quick story before we get started because I was recently over in Kauai with my girlfriend, the amazing Courtney, and
shout out to Court.
Yeah, shout out to Court. And, some of you may see I have a ring on my left finger.
Hello.
We're not married, but this is an Oura ring. And I do like to keep the ring here because it gives me the sense of commitment.
It's a love ring.
Yes, it is a love ring. And she wears a ring on her left finger, which is also a commitment ring. So
there's another kind of ring, but we won't talk about it.
Oh, come on. Don't go
sorry.
There. In any case, regardless of that little intrusion, what I wanted to say was that while I was on a trip recently, we had a discussion. And, sometimes these discussions can, morph into a little bit of upsetted feelings and emotions. And
one must tread carefully.
Some people can feel controlled by somebody else, and some
timing
people
is
can
everything.
Feel that they're not being heard,
right.
And especially if you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired,
yes,
or you're just a little bit on the cranky side,
right?
And it was the perfect storm. But what's beautiful about these moments when you're perceptually shifting, when you're on this incredible adventure of self-discovery and evolution, spiritual, emotional evolution, is that these moments, these, quote unquote, difficult moments, difficult conversations can turn into incredible opportunities for growth.
That is beyond true. I mean, it just can open a whole new level of intimacy.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna keep this fairly short because it's kind of a little bit of a long story, but regardless of this,
it's interesting.
Yeah, regardless of the subject that was going on, after it was over, I went and journaled because I needed to get all of the thoughts and feelings that were going on in my head out of my head and put them on paper so that they just didn't have so much weight.
And you can also be more objective about it that way.
Exactly.
It takes away some of the... It's still personal, but it's not... It's just more clear, I think.
And it also gives me an opportunity to be objective and to sort of find my part and to see, what's really behind the feelings that are going on.
Yeah.
So I wrote 25 pages in my journal. Yeah.
Whoa.
That gives you an indication of how much stuff was going on inside of my head and emotionally and everything, and it had to get out.
Sure.
Now, I just want to explain to everybody the process for me. That didn't solve it necessarily.
Right.
Okay. That was the beginning.
It did take some of the sting out of it.
It did
right?
take some of the sting out of it. Yeah. Yes. And the next day, throughout the healing process of this conversation and trying to unpack it and understand each other, we got a little bit closer, and we got a lot closer, but I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, she had asked me the question when I left the airport to come back to Maui, do you feel that you grew from our conversation and, your writing and everything that you went through?
And you said hell's to the yes.
I said hell's to the no. Yeah, right? Shocker.
It is a shocker.
Yeah, and let me explain why.
Okay.
Because my process is, the first thing I need to do is try to gain some understanding of what's going on.
Right.
Even before that or during that, I have to have acceptance.
So you were still processing it a little bit.
I was understanding what was happening. I told her I learned some stuff from our conversation, but I haven't yet grown.
Right.
And for me to grow, I have to really dig in and figure out what's going on with James.
Right.
I have to figure out what's happening with me and how I got to that point. How was it that I wasn't able to pause when agitated?
Right.
How was it that I wasn't able to say, hey, let me hear what's going on with you and let me take that in and give it some consideration and some time before I respond? How was it that I wasn't able to do it? And one of the reasons was hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
That's what I suspected too.
But regardless,
yeah,
when she asked me, have I grown? I haven't yet grown. I hadn't yet grown at that moment.
Right.
So I got on the plane. I went back. This is a very interesting story. I came back. I did some more writing. I reached out to some of my mentors, some different people.
You bounced it off them a little bit?
I bounced it off some people. I bounced it off you.
Right.
We talked about it. Rob picked me up from the airport. And then eventually, here's what I discovered. And I don't want to reveal who told me this and which mentor and so forth.
Yeah, don't be a narc.
Irrelevant. No. But the bottom line is I was asked this question. How often is it that you share your experience, strength, and hope in a way with others where people are listening and they're paying attention to you and they're not talking back or asking you questions? You're just explaining your experience, strength, and hope. And I said, frequently.
Yeah.
If somebody asked me, can you tell me how you got through that situation or a similar situation? I will give them a little bit of a monologue.
Sure.
And, if they have questions, they can interrupt me. But if they're not interrupting me, I just go on and talk. This pattern of speaking has become slightly ingrained in me. You and I interrupt each other a lot during this show.
Guilty.
But we can also monologue quite a bit too.
Right.
And so what I discovered was the real issue that was going on between us in our relationship is I wasn't making enough room for her to converse with me in a healthy way. I wasn't asking enough questions.
Right.
And what I was told is and I love this, if you speak for more than 10 or 20 seconds without giving a beat for somebody to weigh in.
Right.
Say something like even right, like you just did.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't ask a question. Like, do you think that I gained something from this experience, Rob?
Yes.
Okay. If I don't ask a question like that, then all I'm doing is monologuing and grandstanding and I'm up at a podium.
Right.
And no one really likes that frequently. It gets boring for people. So once I discovered that, that's when I felt that the growth was going to happen. Because suddenly I was aware, there's something I can change. And since that time, I've spoken to a lot of friends who are also mentors to others.
Right.
And they had the aha moment just like me.
Yeah.
They realized they're doing the same thing.
Sure.
And that dysfunctional behavior of not giving enough space for the other person to interject is unhealthy communication.
Yeah. That's a wonderful insight. I mean, it's deep, it's objective, and I can understand, like, that's sort of an old pattern that just kind of came to the surface.
Yes. And this work is what the perceptual shift is all about.
Right.
I can't perceptually shift it unless I know how to perceptually shift.
Well, it also reflects willingness, willing to grow, willing to change, willing
Yes.
to get gut level honest about my part in stuff
Yes.
and not taking her inventory.
And not being defensive.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's easy to blame others.
Easy.
And for
yeah.
some of us, it's easy to blame ourselves too.
Sure. That's
But
true.
the bottom
Like,
line is that the blame game doesn't work.
it's so boring.
It doesn't lead to growth.
It doesn't.
And
It-
so
it-
now-
it more leads to drama. I think it's definitely the problem and not the
Yeah.
solution.
So the end of the story is this. We both agreed because we both have a tendency to do the same thing. Me more than her.
Right.
And I typically longer than she will. I can go 5 minutes. She can maybe only go 2.
Right.
But the bottom line is we agreed that from now on, when either of us is monologuing, grandstanding, up at the podium, the other one will smile. Because we usually FaceTime or we're in person. So all we have to do is a nice smile like this.
It's like your safe word.
It's our safe word. Our safe word is a smile.
Right. I love it.
And so when the other one notices that the other person is smiling
Right.
while the story's going on,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding,
Sure.
it's a little hint that we have not been giving space in that conversation.
Right.
And
That's cool.
we've been doing this regularly now. This is a week since it happened, and we've been doing it regularly. And here's the deal. This book talks about manifesting abundance. Mm-hmm. There's more abundance of intimacy between us in our conversations now.
Yeah. And there's smile abundance too.
There's smile abundance as well. So
I love it.
So this is the great thing. We both are loving our lives together more.
It's
now that we're communicating
Very
better.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's next level.
It is. So, once again, I told you where you could get the book. Also, if you want a signed copy, you can hit me up on Instagram or TikTok, James M. for Michael Quine. And that's my handle at either place. And I will be happy to get you a signed copy of the book if you like. Also, on Saturdays, we're still doing our show,
Yeah.
our little, what do we call it?
Our Perceptual Shift Zoom.
Our Zoom, right. And we're going to do it until we end the book. So
Yeah.
we're about a third of the way through, I think.
Yeah. We're
If
not racing through.
If you want to join us on Saturdays, it's 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can get the Zoom link and information on TikTok or Instagram at James M. Quine. And I think that's it for the announcements.
Yeah.
We want to get into the reading of the page, which is, by the way, page 29. Yes, I think we're on episode 30, page 29. But before we do, we're gonna put on these little glasses. Want to tell them what these glasses are about?
These are our Perceptual Shift lenses, and we're going to use our Perceptual Shift axes here to serenade you with some Perceptual Shift rock and roll.
Yes, and I look at these as sort of a physical manifestation of the desire to shift.
And a metaphor.
A metaphor, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we put this on as a way of saying, it's time for me to shift. And
Right.
here's the cool thing. If you're struggling in life right now, get yourself a pair of perceptual shifters. They could be cute, funny little glasses.
Did you see James's? You're raining on my parade. Those
Yeah,
are clouds
don't rain
with
on my
little
parade.
raindrops.
I'm not going to let anybody rain
no
on my
way.
parade, baby.
Unacceptable.
So you put your shifters on and you remind yourself, it's time for me to shift back into
Love.
Love.
I'm shifting into love right here with my love lenses.
love, light, abundance,
That's
happiness,
right.
joy,
Solution.
peace, all of it.
Yeah.
And
Serenity.
and so what are we going to do now?
We're going to play our Perceptual Shift song.
The intro song?
Yes, and you're welcome to jam along with us if you want. E, D, C, E. Bridge is A.
Wait.
We
Is it
end
E
on
or E minor?
E minor.
You
Thank
said E.
Yeah, I know.
That would really screw people up.
You're right.
Okay.
It would sound like happy birthday.
So give it to
wouldn't
him
be
again the right
nearly
way.
as cool.
E minor.
E minor, D, C, E minor, A major, E minor.
Okay.
Without further ado. Welcome to our shift show. Ready for the mind flow. You're gonna see the world in a brand new way. We'll show you how how to love life. Eliminate your strife. You'll manifest all that you desire. Yeah, baby! The Perceptual Shift Show. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's
Very nice.
done. Not bad. We had a little sabbatical, so we took a break for a few
Yeah.
days and haven't done it. So happy that worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we're going to dive right in
With reckless abandon, let's swan dive into it.
to page 29. And we're going to talk about opening your mind to a new point of view.
Love it. That
Okay.
sounds extremely perceptually shifty.
All right, let's try not to be too boring when I read, okay?
Yeah.
Here we go. Recognizing the desire for a perceptual shift requires courage. You believe that?
Yes.
Why?
Because I have to be open, which means I'm vulnerable, which invites me to practice courage and walk through the fear.
And take responsibility.
Thank you.
Which is a very grown-up kind of a
and
thing.
feel my feelings. And sometimes they're not fun feelings to feel.
That can be scary.
Abandonment is not my favorite feeling to feel.
Rejection.
Definitely. Nobody likes that.
Yeah. All right,
But if it's what's showing up, I'm invited to walk through it.
exactly. And the rewards are immeasurable
Very awesomely huge.
and
yes.
unlimited.
Transformative, I would say.
Agreed. By cultivating self-awareness, embracing triggers. What's a trigger?
A trigger is like something that evokes a fight or flight response in me.
Or freeze, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, get hypnotized by it. Yeah.
Right. And overcoming resistance,
Right.
you can transform the way you see yourself, others, and the world. Now, let me ask you a question. Why would you want to do that? Why would you even want to transform the way you see yourself, others, and the world?
Growth.
What if you feel like you're already seeing them perfectly fine?
Freedom.
Come on, dig a little deeper, bro.
All right. I'm kind of stumped
So
there.
think about somebody who says, I'm perfectly fine the way that I am.
Well, first of all, I smell bullshit.
Woo, stinky, stinky. Really? That's not judgment, is it?
Well, I think it's sugarcoating. Like you just said, dig deeper. And I think when someone gives a response like that, I'm fine, you know.
But people do say that. You know that.
A lot of people say
Yeah.
that. And I always get that little bullshitty smell.
Isn't there an acronym?
A waft.
For isn't there an acronym
Yes,
for fine?
there
What
is.
is it?
We all know it.
What is it?
Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Oh, I thought it was frustrated, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Well,
I
I'm
guess
using
that's the same
I'm using
thing.
the street version.
Okay, that's cool. But anyway, the bottom line is this. If you think you're fine and you don't need this, then great. But at the end of the day, this is what we do, and this system is for people that want to be a better version of themselves. They're not just
Absolutely.
content with being where they're at.
Right.
And if
Right.
you are content with where you're being at, you don't need to even listen to us. You don't
Yeah.
need to do any of this stuff. You don't need to
Yeah.
evolve.
I think some people like being sort of stuck. It feels safe to them, and you know, that's if that works for you, great.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's ego.
Really?
I do. I think it's like, I'm perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys I know that are sort of like that. It's kind of a macho thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to feel my feelings, man.
I mean, I think it comes up for all of us a little bit every time we point our fingers and say, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's like,
Yeah, that's not very good communication skills.
it's not, because the reality is, even if they have a part in it, there's
Yeah.
no way we're totally innocent.
Thank you. You get a ding for that.
Thank you. And the freedom actually lies in finding our part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we can't change them,
Yeah.
no matter how hard we want to.
And it's kind of it's an interesting adventure. I think looking at my part is it's kind of revolutionary because it can be comfortable to play the victim.
Absolutely. victimese, right?
Yeah, victimese.
Yeah.
And it's, flick it
some
off.
language
It's like a
all
hot
onto
coal
itself.
that lands on my shirt, and flick it off quick before it burns
Yeah.
me.
All right, next paragraph. Shifting perception is not about ignoring reality, but about choosing a perspective that empowers rather than limits you. So the idea behind that is back to what we were talking about before. Do we want to be limited or do we want to be empowered? Do we want to grow?
I know what my choice is.
Limit?
No.
Okay. just
Empowered.
checking. Okay. All right. Each moment offers,
Every day, 24/7.
Me too. Each moment offers the opportunity to reframe everything inside and around you,
Right.
to see setbacks as step ups, and to turn life's challenges into its greatest gifts. Think about that just for a moment.
Right.
Every time something quote unquote bad happens to you, or wrong, or something you don't like, think about the idea that that could be your greatest gift.
The silver lining.
Impossible to put your mind around sometimes for certain people.
It's usually takes a minute for me to get there.
Give me some examples of really terrible things that would be difficult for somebody to see as a gift.
I have a zillion of them.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't you think of three? Tell the audience three things that you think would actually be really difficult to reframe. And the reason I'm asking you this is because people out there might be thinking it might be easy for you to reframe the fact that you broke your butter knife and you can get another butter knife. It's no big deal. But some people are going through some serious things in life. Right this moment.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can help them reframe those things.
Yeah,
What are three things?
Well, I want to go deeper than butter knife.
Okay, well,
first
let's
of all.
hear.
Okay. Losing my mom when my mom died.
Okay.
I thought there was nothing good that could come out of that.
How can you, if you were in the process of losing her again and you actually were doing this work, how would you reframe that?
I would reframe it as from a spiritual perspective more.
How? Let's say someone out there in the audience is actually going through exactly what you went through. Their mother is in the hospital on their deathbed. They're desperately hoping their mom doesn't die.
Right.
How do they reframe that?
Knowing that she's going to be okay no matter what. Like with applying some faith to it. That she's going to continue on her journey. Death is part of life, It's just looking at it from a way bigger perspective.
I think that for me, in that situation, yes, that, but also that ultimately what I wanted, I knew what I wanted was what I wanted.
Right.
Which is my mommy to be alive forever.
Yeah.
But more
rough.
importantly, I reframed it by saying, I have to put my desire to the side at the moment.
Right.
And I have to put my mother's best interest at heart.
Right.
And I want what's best for her.
Yes.
Which means that if I will her to live and somehow miraculously she lives and she's brain damaged, she's going to be very, very unhappy at me.
She would hate that.
She would be very upset. So what I said is, universe, I don't know what's supposed to happen here.
Right.
I'm just going to trust. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't like the decision the universe made.
Yeah.
That being said, no one gets out of here alive.
Right.
And the reality is mom had a great life.
Yeah.
And mom lived hard and fast.
She was a vivacious little firecracker and super creative.
She was a big gambler.
Yeah.
She was a big coffee drinker.
She wasn't
She
perfect.
was a big cigarette smoker.
Very much.
And
actually, that was part of the demise.
And she did what she wanted to do and lived
Yeah.
the life that she wanted to live with no regrets.
Right.
Well, maybe she had some on her deathbed. I don't
Yeah.
know. But the point is, if you're going through the death of a loved one or, something like that, it comes down to what you said earlier, which is faith.
Yeah.
Faith is hearing the words that everything's going to be okay. It might not go my way.
Yeah. It definitely was not going my way.
It might not go the way that I wanted to go.
Right.
But it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Fear is no, it won't.
Right.
Or it might not.
Correct.
And I don't need to live in worry and fear because it creates all this stress that is unnecessary and doesn't allow me to love that person that is dying on the deathbed right there. I can either think of how grateful I am that I love them so much, or I can be angry that they're being taken away from me. It's my choice.
Yeah, and bitter and self-pity, all that stuff.
How about if you get cancer? What if you've just found out you got cancer? How do you deal with reframing that? How would you reframe that? It's a pretty big blow, right?
Yeah, I'm not really that scared of cancer, though.
But it's pretty fear-evoking for most people, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like being in the hallway. Well, what does that mean? How long do I have? So for many people listening to the show, you may have heard one of my previous shows where I was diagnosed with a brain tumor that was inoperable.
Right.
And, you know, when I went through all the testing and everything, I finally got somebody to tell me, what does it mean? What does it mean? What are we going to do? How are we going to handle it? And there was no solution for this particular brain tumor. It was inoperable. And it was growing very fast. So they said the only thing is we can tell you is to get your affairs in order. And I'm like, well, how long do I have to live? And they said 3 to 5 weeks. And, you know, in that moment, when you have a definitive answer of how long you have left to live, a definitive answer, you start to think differently. How do I want to spend the last 3 to 5 weeks of my life? More importantly, how do I want to feel during the last 3 to 5 weeks of my life? Do I want to feel happy, joyous, free? Light-filled?
Yes. I vote for that.
Experience equanimity and peace of mind? Or do I want to be gripping the bed sheets and terrified like Scrooge?
And freaking out.
Yeah. And so I chose not to tell anybody. Wow. And I wrote a bunch of letters to my son. He was very young at the time, so he'd have some letters to open up on different holidays and birthdays and things like that. And
that was cool.
And I continued to surf and run my little business and enjoy my life and, you know, meditate and, you know, do my affirmations and all my stuff. And I just said, I'm just grateful to be alive. And what happened?
You were healed by surfing.
No.
You caught a tube. Yeah. The brain tumor flew out into the tube.
Brain tumors do not like positive energy. They don't like love and happiness and joy and peace.
Yeah.
They can't grow in that environment.
And they don't like acceptance. They want you to be terrified.
They don't want
crapping in your boots.
No, they don't want you to have faith.
Right.
And the reality is,
you filled up with light. That's what happened.
Some people can look at this experience and say, you know, that was just an anomaly. It was just, you know, one of those weird, quirky things of science. Or you can say,
miracle.
It's a miracle.
That's what I say.
A miracle. And I choose to see it as a miracle. I choose to see that the action that I took intentionally helped to heal me.
Miracles happen, bitches.
And this is a healing process. So, you know, we're getting a little long toothed again.
Your brain tumor gets a ding.
Thank you. All right, so here we go. By consciously, by consciously directing your focus, you reclaim your ability to shape your experiences and create a more rewarding and vibrant adventure. I think we said that before. So as you continue this journey, remember, each shift brings you closer to a life of greater joy, connection, and abundance. Every single time you shift out of the darkness and into the light, out of negativity into positivity, out of discomfort and into a place of comfort, you have more joy, more connection, and more abundance in your life.
That's true.
It's 100% true.
Yeah.
The ability to see differently is a powerful tool for building the future you desire, and it all begins with recognizing the possibility for change. Of course, you then have to want it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we talked about before. If you're like, well, you know, I see I could change, but I'm not interested.
Right.
Well, that's fine. I'm also not I'm also not interested in hanging out with you, brother.
That's right.
Have a good day. Go hang around other non-changers.
That's got a low vibration to it, man. Extremely.
So the question of the day is, do you see that the potential to reframe events in your life, Robbie, in a positive way can actually create more abundance for you?
Absolutely, yes. I have to be open to it. The universe is not going to cram something down my throat. I have to invite it in. I got to do my part.
I'm giving a ding for that because I just want to reiterate. He said he needs to invite it in. In other words, it's there already, but if we don't invite it, we don't get to access it.
That's right.
And we don't get the abundance that comes with inviting it in.
Yeah, that's my experience.
I love that. Okay, so now that we know that you do see the potential to reframe events in your life in a positive way creates more abundance for you, tell us one area of your life where shifting your perspective even more now, could open up more doors for you. What could you shift? Well, we already know you shift a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you've been shifting and shifting and shifting. But what could you subtly shift right now, just a little bit, to open some more doors of abundance? What area of your life do you see would benefit from a little bit more light?
I think I've been journaling for a zillion years. I mean, a very long time, as have you, if you don't mind me saying. I'm a big believer in gratitude journals. I know it sounds cheesy, and I'm sure some people are like barfing right now listening to it. Try it or deny it. It's a very powerful habit / discipline in my life. And it's inviting light. That's what it does. I think my pen is accessing, like I'm meeting the universe halfway. I'm doing my part. The universe is doing the universe's part. And I started writing a while back, every day I'm going to do L&S, which is love and service.
Okay.
And it's in little ways. It's being nice to people at Safeway, the checker, saying, hey, how's it going? Just being a good mensch, a nice person, a good human. Mm. And I also do a lot of, I mentor people and I help people out. And every day I do L&S. And it makes me feel fantastic. It connects me. I feel like it's karma cleansing. I feel like it's just a practice that makes me feel wonderful, literally O-N-E, full of oneness.
Yeah. So
connection.
And I just want to say that if you're not getting the connection between reframing and what he's saying, I want to be clear that when we see a teller at Safeway,
right,
we see them as a teller at Safeway,
right,
or checker, whatever you call that. And is that what you call it? Checker?
Yeah,
teller? Yeah. And
cashier.
Cashier. When we reframe it, when we reframe that individual, we see them as another child of the universe.
That's right.
And we see them as a human being.
Right. And I have compassion for them. They don't even have chairs to sit in.
Yes, they
have to stand for 8 hours or whatever, probably have to hold their pee and all kinds of stuff. At least I can be nice to them. Like I see a lot of people treat them like shit. Right. And it makes me a little angry. It's like, that's not compassionate. It's not cool.
And we may be in our own world rushing or dealing with our kids. And we're not really recognizing this individual and their service to us.
Thank you.
We take it for granted because we feel like we're paying for it.
Shout out to Safeway.
Yeah, we're paying for the service. So why do I need to appreciate the service?
Right.
Aren't I appreciating their service by paying them? The reality is we're not paying them.
Right.
We're paying this company.
Yeah.
So the way we can pay them back is by reframing them as a human being, looking into their eyes and saying, how is your day going?
Yeah. And not with a fake smile, not a bullshit thing, like just really being authentic about it. Like,
yeah. Or
how's it
have
going?
you had a chance to get outside since the rain let up? Or,
right.
It could be anything. It could be saying, hey, you have a great smile, or I love that shirt, or anything nice.
It can be just a little bit of kindness, help them get through the day, and it's just being a good human.
And the beautiful thing about that is that small little bit could make their day.
Yeah.
Could make their day. We don't know if the person before us or 5 before us yelled at them, or, if they've got other things going on in their life.
Right.
A little bit of love and service, can change the world. It's one person at a time.
To me, it's the yoga of love. And it doesn't have to be anything grandiose. It can be just a gentle little, how's it going? Yeah.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
So the reframing I need to do in my mind that could really benefit me is to begin reframing the way I see tasks in my life that I don't really love doing. Right? I mean, you've got some, like you don't love to do laundry or dishes, right?
Yes.
Clean up.
It's very hard for me to be stoked about cleaning my socks. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so for me, I have a lot of things going on. I have a lot of paperwork that accumulates and a lot of responsibilities. And for example, today I have to pay the registration on one of the vehicles. And I know that I brought that piece of paper up and I put it somewhere and it just occurred to me, I got to pay that registration. I forgot, that it came in the mail.
Right.
So I have a tendency to get a little bit of like putting things away when I don't want to deal with it instead of just dealing with them right when they come in front of me.
I'm guilty.
And so I believe that if I reframe it and say, oh, look, I have the opportunity to pay my registration. It came in the mail. I could stop everything, pay it now, and I could be free of any stress related to this registration. I have the money to pay it.
Right.
It's easy. I'm just going to take 5 minutes, go online and pay the registration.
Yeah.
So I would like to put that out there in the universe and remind myself that I'm going to begin reframing things that come into my life that I have an instant tendency to want to push to the side, to just handle it and get it out of the way so that I can be free.
That is so awesome. We're talking about adulting.
Exactly.
And that's procrastination, right? Is that what that
It
character
is procrastination.
I
yeah.
have that. I could do a lot of work on that too.
Yeah. So that's my deal for the day.
Right.
Our time is just about up, believe it or not.
Wow.
But before we leave you, we're going to make the announcement about where you can get the book again, which is Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and I believe there's a lot of other places out there that carry the book.
Excuse you, what about Kindle?
We can also get the Kindle. The Kindle is, I think, $2.99 or something like that. Couple of rupees. And you'd want to have a journal.
Yes.
But you want to have a journal anyway because it's a great habit to get into. It's actually one of the habits of life lovers that is in the back of the book.
Yeah.
There's a list of those habits.
And you can rip me off and write L and S in there if you want.
Yeah, exactly. Love and service.
That's right.
And we also do the Saturday. Right now, we're still doing the Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Zoom meeting where we answer the questions in the book and we talk about it. So if you want to join us.
James and I are there. We're doing it right alongside you guys.
Check us out.
We're in the trenches.
Yep. Get the link and all the details at TikTok or Instagram, James M. for Michael Quine. And with that, those announcements being done, we're going to go ahead and
rock and roll one more time.
One more perceptual shifty with our shifty glasses.
I already gave you the chords. If you missed them, just rewind it. And
same chords, just slightly different lyrics.
That's right. Here we go. Now you've heard the Shift Show. Hope you got your mind blown. We'll be back next week with more to say. And if you are a seeker, buy the book, dig deeper. Take what you like and now go out and play. Skip, jump, have some fun, yeah! The Perceptual Shift Show, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, yeah. And that almost concludes our show, but not quite. Because at the end of the show, we talk to you just for a quick second about loving life and what that really means to us. Because there's this misconception around town that loving life means that you love every single thing you feel, think, hear, and happens to you.
Not realistic.
No, I don't think it is. We're human beings, and we stub our toe, it hurts.
That's right.
And if somebody rejects us, we're going to feel sad.
It hurts a little bit. Life hurts, people.
Now, there's a difference between pain and suffering.
Thank you.
Because suffering is the extension of pain by virtue of allowing it to manifest in your life and continue day, minute by minute, hour by
Hamster
hour, day
wheeling.
by day,
Yeah.
week by week, month by month, year by year. Have you ever met somebody who said, I'm really upset? And you say, why? And they say, 20 years ago.
They've been marinating for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't talk to my brother because 35 years ago, he hurt my feelings.
He stole my girlfriend.
Right. That's suffering. And so what I'm saying is that in the moment of pain, it's hard to love your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But loving life, when we talk about loving life and we say, I love my life, what we mean is that globally, we're so grateful to be alive.
Right.
It beats being underground.
Oh, my God. Hugely.
And this opportunity to be these spiritual entities inside of this human body and to experience what it feels like to be alive as a human is absolutely unbelievable. It's the gift of all gifts. You literally won the lottery just by being born into this world. Everything else is icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So whatever the TV and movies and anybody ever tells you that you have to achieve this and that in order to be happy, you can be happy just because you're alive, just like I am.
That's
just
right.
like you are.
Yeah.
And part of how we feel that way is we remind ourselves of how lucky we are to be alive by yelling out, I love my life.
Right.
And if you'd like to join us, it's something that we do many times each day.
That's right.
And we do it right here on the show at the end of the show.
It's a big part of perceptually shifting, I think.
Yes, and we welcome you to do it with us. So,
Yeah.
on the count of 3, you want to count us for
Yeah,
it?
it's a secret
you wanna,
mantra.
You want to use the harmonica?
Sure.
Is that the harmonica, right?
It's a tambourine.
I know. I'm just messing with
messing
you.
with my mind.
Okay.
2, 3.
I love my life! Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
See
for
you
coming,
next
you
time.
guys.
The Perceptual Shift Show. Whoa, whoa, whoa.